welcome to our functional fitness class. Part of our free Grow with GoGo series. So on Wednesdays, we alternate between yoga and functional fitness. So today is our functional fitness class. A quick reminder of what GoGo provides before we get moving. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. And you can access these things through one phone number, and that number is 855-464-6872. Also, we have a referral code at the bottom of your GoGo receipt. So if you go to your GoGo receipt, at the bottom there's a code. You can give that code to a friend, and then once they take their first service with GoGo, you will both receive $10 in credit. We have a Facebook group as well. So if you ever want to continue any of these conversations online, you can find us on Facebook. And we'll add a link in the chat so you can just click on that and find our Facebook page that way. All right, and with that, we'll get going. So if we have not met, I'm Adra. Welcome to class. I'm a yoga teacher, a fitness instructor, and an occupational therapist. So today, what do we need? We need a chair and some light weights if you want. You don't need to have light weights. So I have some 3-pound weights. So 1 to 3 pounds works. If you don't have weights, don't worry about it. You don't need anything at all. Or grab some water bottles or grab some cans to give you something to hold on to and feel a little resistance. But you can do everything without the weights and just imagine the resistance. I also find that wall space can be really useful. So occasionally, not every class, we will use some wall space. So sometimes you go, oh, can't do that exercise. No big deal. Let's pretend I have wall space if we're using it as a cue. So not a big deal if you don't have everything. And the chair is mostly to use for balance, but sometimes we do sit down. Functional fitness is mostly standing. The yoga class is mostly seated. So just know that that's how this class is structured. But if you need to take breaks and sit, that's totally fine. Listen to your body. All right. Does anybody remember the fitness move of the week? So every Wednesday, I give you a move, and then you have to remember it for 2 weeks because the following week is yoga.
This is Carol. Was it how do we stand?
Yes. Excellent, Carol. Did you think at all about how you stand throughout the day?
Usually I wear rocker shoes, so I tend to rock forward and backward. So it's doing heel lifts and toe lifts, then heel lifts and toe lifts.
Yeah. Okay. So that's really interesting. And that's fun. I've never actually heard of rocker shoes. So it allows you to sort of.
It's the NBT shoes.
Okay. Cool. I'll have to check those out. That's really interesting. They probably make you more aware in general throughout the day.
Yes, they do.
Awesome. Great. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So a couple of housekeeping things in general. I don't see the chat when I'm teaching. So you can put things in the chat. And if it's a question for me, I'll see it at the end of class. If it's something else, you can put it in the chat and V will answer as best she can. If you don't see me as your big screen and you want to see me as your big screen, you go to the top right-hand corner of your computer and there's something that says view. It's like a little box, and then you can pick speaker view if you want to see me. If you want to see everybody else, you can pick gallery view. So that's for you to decide what feels good. Also, this is your time. This is your practice. Listen to your body. So if something doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel safe for you, please skip it. Right, I can't be in every single video at the same time, so I don't know what you're experiencing. So I want you to take some ownership on what feels good in your body. If you want to skip something, please do listen to your body, take breaks, because you want to continue to come to class for a long time. All right, with that, let's get going. So let's just come to stand. Maybe shake it off a little bit, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Just releasing any unnecessary tension. And then go ahead and land with your feet anywhere from 4 to 6 inches apart. And we'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling, just reaching tall. Let's stay here. And then we'll reach one arm up a little bit higher as we bend the other elbow. So I'm reaching, I'll mirror you, right arm up, left elbow bends, and then switch, left arm up, right elbow bends. So just alternating, reaching. It's like a nice morning stretch. Even yourself out, right to left, and come back to center. Releasing those arms. We'll bend those knees, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Inhale. And exhale, straighten out the legs and lower the shoulders. We inhale, bend the knees, shoulders come up. And exhale, straighten the legs, shoulders come down. Keep going. And then straightening out. Let's take the feet a little bit wide. Just watch that there's nothing directly behind you or directly next to you, because I don't want you to whack your fingers. And we're gonna twist, just letting the body twist. You can let your whole body twist. So it's not just the spine, but the pelvis can move. So as I twist to the right, my left heel lifts. And as I twist to the left, the right heel comes up. Just letting the whole body find some nice rotation. Arms just swing freely. All right, and let's come back to center. All right, we're gonna sit ourselves in our chair. I'm gonna go sideways just so you get a better view. You don't need to be sideways. You can just stay facing the computer or your screen. Okay, so go ahead and make your way down to sit. And just after you've done that, you're just gonna stand up again. And you're gonna notice, how did you do that? How did you come to sit? How did you come to stand? So we'll do it again. You're just gonna sit down. Stand up. And sit back down. So noticing, was there a specific way that you did that? Did you use your arms? Did you lean really far forward? Did you stagger your legs? So noticing, were there things that you did? Did you twist to one side? So maybe try it one more time if you want. And then coming back down. I'm just realizing I left my mic over there. We're gonna move it over here. And then coming back down. So was there a specific way that you did it? Nothing wrong with it. We're just noticing, what are our habits? Is there a way that we like to move? And then we're gonna work on strengthening our legs, coming in and out of the chair without using our arms if possible, and without twisting or staggering our legs. So we're gonna set ourselves up by bending the knees and making sure that the ankles are behind the knees. So if you have a 90-degree bend, you might try this for a second. It's really hard to get up. It's really hard to get up with a 90-degree bend. Whereas if we move our feet further back, so we make the angle more acute at the knee joints, so moving those feet back, ankles behind the knees, it makes it a little bit easier. The other thing that's going to help is with those feet back, you're going to lean forward. Your head is going to unweight your hips. So the further forward you lean, the easier it is to come up. And then same thing on the way down. Is it possible to lean forward as you bend those knees to lower down with control? Also noticing, is there a moment of plop, right? Do you plop down? If that's happening, what can you do to try and slow it down? Maybe you can reach those arms forward as you lean forward to bring the hips down. Also, are you having to use momentum to come up? If you're using momentum to come up, try and slow it down. The other thing you can do is add some pillows or some books underneath your hips to try and raise your seat. That will make it a little bit easier. We'll go into more traditional squats a little bit later, but this is a really functional activity here because we're getting in and out of a chair. That's something you do multiple times a day. And I want you to start to bring some awareness around how you do that. And it can get a little tiring. Let's do 2 more. With that mindfulness, leaning forward, trying not to use momentum, and if possible, not using your legs. Yeah, sorry, not using your arms. Of course you're using your legs, not using your arms if possible. All right, next time you're seated, we'll stay seated. We'll revisit this idea in a little bit, but we'll go into some core work since we're sitting down. So you'll scoot yourself forward towards the front edge of your chair so you have plenty of room behind you, between you and your backrest. You can cross your arms in front of your body or just let your arms be out of the way. From here, we're doing a hip hinge in that the spine's not really going to change shape. You'll lean back towards your backrest and then exhale, sit yourself back up. So we inhale, lean back. For this one, we're doing a flat back or a straight back. Exhale, sit up. A few more times. At your own pace, so don't worry about my speed. Go at your own pace. And now we're going to add a back round or rounding of the back as we do this. So you're going to lean back and round, almost like you're slouching. So you're going to let your shoulders find the backrest. And then you're going to curl yourself up like you're doing a sit-up. So lowering back, rounding the back. So you're tucking your tail and then you'll curl yourself up. So it's almost like you're imagining that your backrest is the ground. So you'll go back, you'll round your back or flex your spine and curl yourself up. We'll just do 1 more of those. So it's just a different way to activate those abs. So leaning back, round the back and curl yourself up. Excellent. Let's go ahead and release the arms. We're going to move into our feet. We'll just quickly do a few heel raises and seated, just so that you know that you have this option. So you'll alternate lifting one heel and then the other. I'll take off my socks so you can see a little bit better. And then you can move into lifting both heels at the same time. So this is an option if you don't want to do this standing. If you're doing it seated and you want a little challenge, you could grab your weights mindfully and just let them rest on your thighs. That'll give your legs just a little bit more work. If you want to do this carrying the weight of your body, you'll make your way up to stand and come stand behind your chair. Okay, so standing behind your chair or wall, really just anything that gives you balance. All 10 toes face forward. I don't want your feet too wide, so maybe 4 to 6 inches apart. We'll lift up onto the tippy toes, heels come up and back down. So that's your alternative. So you can do the seated version with no weight. You can do the seated version with weight on your thighs, or you can do the standing version. Standing version, you have 2 options. Option 1, you hold on for balance. Option 2, you let go. So lots of different levels, lots of options. Listen to your body, do what feels good. Couple more. All right, let those heels relax, shake it off. Now we're going to move to the upper body. So you could stay seated if you're sitting, you can stay standing if you're standing, or you can change it up if you want. You're going to reach your arms overhead for a moment and just take a second to notice how you do that. So arms reach up towards the ceiling. How do you do that? So notice what parts of your body get involved for you to do that. So do it a few times, both arms at the same time. To notice, okay, am I moving my arms and my shoulders? Am I moving my spine to reach my arms up? Am I moving my pelvis and my ankles? Am I moving my knees? What parts of the body are moving to reach those arms overhead? You're probably already feeling heat if you're repeatedly bringing those arms up. So what I want you to now do is try not to move anything except for your shoulders and your arms. So your shoulder blades sit on your upper back and then the arm bones. So shoulder blades and arm bones move, nothing else moves. So they're the only things reaching up, which might mean that you can't reach all the way up to the ceiling. It might mean that you're reaching slightly forward. And if that's the case, that's totally fine, because I want this to become an arm exercise. So just noticing that you can move your arms and shoulders without moving your spine, and then grab your weights. And if you're really not sure, if you're going, I'm not sure if I'm doing this, you can go against a wall, feel your spine against the wall, and do these exercises. And if your spine moves away from the wall, you know that you're using your spine and not your arms. So you do have that option. All right, so grabbing those weights, we're gonna do some overhead presses. So arms push up overhead. Here you can alternate if it feels heavy, doing one arm and then the other, or you can do both arms at once. Again, thinking I'm moving my arms, not my spine and my hips. Right, it's an arm exercise. Nice smooth breath, couple more. All right, and releasing those arms. We're going back to the heel raises. So you can do those seated or standing. We're going to repeat these exercises. All right, so heel raises, up and down, standing or sitting. Nice smooth breath, couple more. Great. And now back to those overhead presses. So grabbing your weights or not, you could do this without weights, it's plenty of work. Spine tries to stay still. We're pushing those weights overhead and back down. You're welcome to use the wall to show you, to be your teacher, to show you what is my spine doing. You're also welcome to push those weights more in a forward direction if that means that you can keep your spine still. Couple more. All right, and release. Whew. Shake it off. We're gonna go into some squats now without the chair, unless you feel like you want to do this in front of your chair for a little extra support. You can have your weights in front of your chest or put your weights down. Let's take the feet about as wide as the shoulders. Your toes can point slightly out if you'd like. And we'll bend the knees and let the hips go back and then come all the way up to stand. We bend and lift. It's up to you how low you go, right? So if you've got knee stuff, maybe it's a small bend, right? Totally fine to do a small bend. It's also fine to break down this movement and just do a portion of the movement. So you could move the hips, but not the knees. All right, one more. Whew, coming up. Back to those arms. You can do this with weights or without weights. It's plenty hard without weights, so just know that if at any point you want to put down the weights, it's totally fine. We're going to lift one arm to the side and one arm out in front of us. So we're creating kind of an L shape with our arms and then lowering down and then switch. So now if you're doing this without weights, you're just alternating one arm in front, one to the side, and then the other. I really want this to be shoulders working and not your neck. You don't have to bring the arm directly to the side, so the side arm is slightly forward if that feels more comfortable on your shoulders. Your elbows can be slightly bent, or they can be really bent. Really bent will be easier, slightly bent is great as well, so you have options. If you're not using weights, imagine that you're pushing through water or molasses or something with resistance to give you some challenge, even though you're not carrying the weights. Couple more. Thinking about controlling your way down. So that control on the way down is a great way to get strong instead of just dropping those weights. Also a little bit safer. A few more. Even yourself out if you can remember which side you started with. So you've done the same right to left. Woo! And take a moment, take a breath. And we're going back to those squats. So if you want those weights come close to your chest or put the weights off to the side, your feet go a little bit wider and we bend and straighten. All right, one or two more. Whew, coming down. Oh, I don't feel ready to do those arm those arm reaches yet, but that's what's next. Let's first do just a few shoulder rolls. A few shoulder rolls to prepare ourselves. Shoulder rolls go the other way. All right. So back to reaching one arm out to the side, one arm forward. Elbows can be bent if you want, or they can be straight and lower down. And then switch, other arm forward, other arm out to the side. Again, trying to control the way down. So I would rather you do several slow ones where you're really controlling than a lot of fast ones. We want the quality of the movement. So not only are you pushing, even if you're not carrying weights, you're pushing through that water, that molasses on the way up. You're also pushing through it on the way down. So creating that resistance for yourself. All right, start to even yourself out right to left. And take a break, shake it off. All right, back to the legs. We're going into some side lunges. So you're going to take your feet wide. I know you can't see my feet on the screen, but you don't really need to see them. You can turn your feet to face forward or out. It's whatever feels comfortable. If you want, you can hold your weights in front of your chest or get rid of your weights. We're going to bend one knee, hips go back. So I'm leaning my torso forward, getting some inner thigh stretch, and my weight is in my bent knee leg. So the left, well, it's my left leg, but if I'm mirroring you, the right leg. You're gonna push your foot into that bent knee leg and then straighten out. Then switch, you bend the other knee, hips go back. And then whatever leg is bent, that's the leg you're pushing into to rise. So we're going into side to side lunges. You get some strength and some stretch. It's up to you how fast you go. Again, even if you don't have weights, maybe you're imagining that you're pushing through something with resistance. So creating that resistance for yourself and your mind can create more challenge for you. Even yourself out, so you've done the same right to left. And then come on up, putting those weights down, taking your legs together. We're going into some tricep extensions. We're gonna do this overhead today. We don't usually do it overhead. We usually do it leaning forward and stretching one arm back behind us. So you're welcome to do that if that feels better. Today, we're just gonna try something new. You can do this with one weight or both. Arms go up towards the ceiling, and then we bend the elbows so the weight is behind our head. Elbows are forward. So my elbows are pretty close to the head. They're not super far wide. So if possible, the elbows are pretty close to the head. And then we push the hands up towards the ceiling and bend the elbows. We push and bend. So you can do this with one weight, holding that one weight with both hands, or each hand can have a weight. If each hand has a weight, you could be separated, so that's a little bit harder, or let the weights touch to give you a little bit of an anchor. All right, let's go ahead and bring those arms back down. Ooh. Take a moment. Take a few deep breaths. We're gonna go back to those side lunges. So if you want, those weights are by your chest, or just put the weights off to the side. Our legs go wide, wider than the shoulders. Actually, I'll give you a side view this time. We'll bend one knee, hips go back, and then we push into the leg to rise. Other knee bends and up. We'll keep going. So only one knee is bent at a time. Start to even yourself out. So you've done the same right to left. And once you're even, come on up. Bringing those legs back together. Grabbing one or both weights for your tricep extensions. Or no weight, right? No weight, and just really focusing on keeping those elbows in close to you. We straighten and bend the arms overhead. Great time for you to think about your spine as well. So seeing if you can keep your rib cage relaxed instead of pushing those ribs forward. So the ribs are really going to want to press forward and extend the spine when you're in this position, and see if you can just try and keep the spine and the ribs relaxed. Really putting the work in the arms. Couple more. All right, let's bring those arms down. Put the weights off to the side. We're gonna come back to our chair. Think about how you sit when you come down to sit. Take a moment, notice how you come down to sit. Do a quick stretch here in seated. So we have a couple of options. You can cross your left ankle in front of the right and let your knees open to the side and then lean forward from there. Or you can cross that left leg, so I'm mirroring, on top of your right and lean forward. Or you can cross your ankle over your thigh. And from there, stay upright or lean forward. So figure 4 variations. You can cross the ankle over the thigh, you can cross your legs, or you can cross your ankles. So whatever works for you. Few deep breaths. Leaning forward will give you a little more stretch. Sitting upright will decrease the intensity. Noticing your bottom leg. So if your bottom leg, especially if you're in the figure 4 position, the position with the ankle over the thigh, if your shin is perpendicular to the earth, you'll get more stretch. If your shin is sort of at an angle, you'll get less stretch. So that's another way that you can adjust for your needs. And coming out of that, switching sides. So right ankle can cross over the left, allowing the knee to open out to the side. You can cross your thighs, or you can cross your ankle over your thigh. So any of those options fine. With any of those options, you can lean forward or you can stay sitting tall. All right, and then coming up and out of that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do all of the exercises we've just done, about 5 to 10 times each exercise, and I'll talk you through each one again. But that means we'll be doing some squats again, we'll be doing some heel raises again, we'll do some overhead pressing again, some arm raises, those side lunges, and the tricep extension. So hopefully I didn't miss anything, but I will tell you what's coming when. So we'll start with some squats. So you'll grab those weights if you want the weights, just be mindful of how you pick things up so you don't hurt yourself in the transitions. So about 5 to 10 reps. Go slow, take your time. And we'll go for it. So let's start with our squats. So down and up. And this is the last thing. So we're just repeating. So we've done these things several times. Now our body knows what we're doing. Great. Okay. Now we'll go into our overhead presses. Pushing those weights up overhead and bringing them down. You can alternate. Everyone goes at a different speed, so if you're done, you can always stop and take a breather. All right, when you're done, no rush, you can bring those weights down. We're going into the heel raises. I'm going to do these seated this time. You're welcome to get behind your chair to a wall and do them standing. So heels come up and back down. So I'm just sitting because that's what my body wants right now. If standing heel raises is the challenge that you need, please do the standing ones. So this is just, we're lifting those heels up and we're bringing them back down. I have my weights on my thighs just to add a little bit of challenge. All right, wrapping up those heel raises. And we'll move into those arm lifts. So that's when one arm goes forward, one goes out to the side. You can do this seated or standing. Elbows can be bent or straight. All right, and then letting that go, we're going into our wide stance for our side lunges. Weights can be by your chest or off to the side. We bend one knee, hips go back and up. Even yourself out right to left, so you've done the same on each side. And then come on up. Tricep extensions, arms come up, elbows bend. We straighten the arms to the ceiling and then we bend them again. And then go ahead and release, bringing those weights down. We'll wrap up with a few stretches. So we're gonna come behind our chair if possible. If you can't get behind your chair, you can put your hands on a wall or on a table. We'll put the hands on your support and then walk yourself back until you create kind of an upside down L position. So the arms try and straighten, torso's parallel to the earth. Your legs are underneath your hips, so your ankles are beneath your hips. If you need to, knees can be bent. Couple of deep breaths. Then lifting your torso up, you'll leave your left leg behind you and step your right foot forward about 2 feet, and then bend your right knee. So we're creating a lunge. So right knee is bent, right foot is in front, left leg is straight, left leg is behind. So you get a little calf stretch here. And then we'll switch. So stepping the left foot forward, right foot back, feet are about 2 feet apart. All 10 toes are facing forward. The front knee is bent, the back leg is straight. And we hold for a few breaths. And then we step forward, right foot meets the left. Step away from the chair or your support. We'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. And exhale, lower the arms back down. 2 more times. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, back down. 1 more. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Stay up. Palms touch, hands lower towards your chest. Give yourself a round of applause. Awesome work, everybody. So great working out with you today. Our move of the week is paying attention to how you get in and out of your chair. So you get in and out of the chair many, many times every day. And it could be your chair, it could be your couch. And I want you to start to pay attention to how you do that. And if you have a habitual way of doing it, and if it feels safe, can you change it up? Can you try and get up in a slightly different way? So just a fun way to bring in fitness into your daily life by thinking about how you do things. I'm going to write it down because if I don't write things down, I don't remember them. So if you feel like you need to write something down, write that down, go for it. Okay, that's written down. Oh, we have some things in the chat. Great. Okay, so I'm hearing, so she's probably not here anymore. Patty, is Patty here? Let's see. No, okay, it's always fine. Yeah, if you're having a hard time not understanding, you can always put something in the chat. That way I know for next time to try and give more instructions. I do generally recommend that if instructions, you need a lot of instruction and fewer visual, the yoga class is a lot easier than the fitness class. But I'll try and mention that at the beginning of class next time. If anybody has any questions about our yoga or functional fitness, now is your time to ask. If they're GoGo questions, ask GoGo directly so you can email them, because I usually don't know the answers to those.
Adra, this is Carol. I just wanted to say I was feeling a little stiff and sore when I started the class today, but you have me loosened up now.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that, Carol. Any other questions? And of course, if you are ready to go, you can always just pop off, but I want to give you time to ask any fitness related questions because I'm here to answer them.
Adria, I feel like you're getting me ready for the ski season with all those lunges. I want to raise my foot up off the ground like I'm unweighting my ski, and it forces me to leave my foot on both feet on the ground whenever we do your side lunges.
Awesome. I'm glad you're getting ski season ready really far in advance. All right, it looks like there are no questions, so I will let you all go. It was wonderful seeing you. So next week, next Wednesday is yoga. So if you want a class that's mostly seated, it's really nice, lots of stretches, a little more relaxing, a little calmer. That's the class for you. So I hope to see you next week. And if not, the week after that, have a wonderful rest of the week, everyone. Great to have you.